Well, things are looking like we're heading into the stretch of games where everything will be figured out. Caldor has done the math.
Yeah, right now there are a lot of possible scenarios that we have, so it's not really something that I can report. But I just had a look at the scores and everything, and I stumbled across something. I actually think that Hyun is already in Code S. Because the thing is, the two players that actually look the best right now is MMA and, well, I guess, no, he's not in Code S just yet. There could be a weird scenario where a player like JYP, for example, takes 3 wins now, defeats Hyun as well, is tied up with Hyun, and then is able to advance. That could be the scenario, whereas, for example, if Hack, on the other hand, takes down the next 2 games, he would be on 4-1. So there could be a scenario where Hack advances together with JYP. So, yeah. It's a very unlikely scenario given the scores that we currently have, but Hyun is not guaranteed a Code SC just yet. If he wins another game, that is definitely the case. A scenario that we have, the most likely scenario, with MMA and Hack being 2-1 in the group and Hyun being 3-0, is that Hyun is going to advance with 4-1, 5-0, something like this, if he wins another game. And then MMA and Hack might actually end up being tied, and they have to play against each other later. So for both of them, this is the most important match. Either MMA or Hack will definitely have 3 wins. One of them has to win this match. So even if they lose the other game, they will. One of them will at least be on a 3-2 score, which is all that they need in, well, it comes down to the tie situations then. But yeah, the next games are going to determine a lot. So far, not a single player is qualified for Code S. Does have a guaranteed spot, but Hyun is as good as in Code S. We are going to find out if he's able to pull through, though. First of all, we are concentrating on JYP against MMA. A Protoss versus Terran, and the map is going to be Entombed Valley. So this is very, very important. If JYP loses here, he is out. No chance whatsoever. Will MMA win? Will JYP win? We're going to find out right now. This is the Up and Down with Alan Wolf.
Will JYP win? Will MMA win? I just said his name. The player to the bottom left from the team Evil Geniuses. He is.
Yeji, JYP later core.
Struggled on this map already, earlier today, in fact.
And you know, what I just said is true, we could have this weird scenario, but if JYP loses, that does not only mean that JYP is out and MMA has a good shot at claiming Code S spot, but it also means that Hyun is through.
Yes.
So, currently to the top left, I'll go back into detail on this in just a second. To the top left, let's introduce the player first. We have, for the Slayers team, the Terran who calls himself, after mixed martial arts, it is
Slayers MMA.
So just to explain this again, currently Hyun is in a great position, and if he could end up in a scenario where he is tied with JYP. If he's tied with MMA or with Hack later on, that doesn't really matter to Hyun. Hyun already won against both of them, and a direct comparison counts. So if he ends up in a tie situation with the 2 of them, or with one of them, it doesn't matter, he will advance to Code S. But there is a scenario where he could actually be tied with JYP or with Boom Boom. He won against Boom Boom though, so the same is true as if he was tied up with Hack and MMA, he would advance. JYP, on the other hand, that's a little bit of a different story, because they play each other later on, and if JYP takes this game against Hyun, he would be tied. But if JYP loses now, he has only 1 win, has 3 losses. Even if he wins against Hyun later, he won't be in a tie situation, so Hyun will definitely be in Code S if JYP loses here. So this game is very important for 3 players: MMA, JYP, and Hyun.
Yes. And during all of that discussion, we had some very aggressive probe scouting going on. He forced a lot of repair, actually lost a lot of minerals in repair on that SCV, plus the probe got away and knows without a doubt that there is a command center there. He checked, no gas, he was around for a long time, very much in the know. A ton of chrono energy again here for JYP. I'm really curious to see if he has plans on going for a 4 gateway attack potentially here. He chrono boosts the warp gate research. This is shown to MMA, but he wasn't looking. Now he sees it on his way out. And there's a pylon here. He may actually just hide his gateways over there. This is really, really interesting. I wonder if he wants to do this. It's a crucial match for JYP, so to go for a 4 gateway attack on this map is pretty risky.
It's risky, but that might be exactly what he's trying to go for. Using a strategy that MMA does not expect at all. He sends his SCV to the right side. He scouts the pylon. He sees it.
Yep, and now he's just going to leave the SCV nearby so that he knows if anything is built there. And instead, it is a Nexus.
It is a Nexus, and the Stalker is moving out, trying to catch the worker.
No chrono energy used whatsoever by GOMTV right now, by the way. He's not chrono boosting anything at all.
Yeah, he's saving up everything at this point, which is a bit awkward.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily good. I mean, he's reaching that point where he should be chrono boosting one of those three things. But I think we're going to see the 2 gates go down now.
Yeah, they kind of have to.
He's up to 80 energy, by the way.
MMA is actually getting another bunker. He's building 2 bunkers right now. With what he scouted, he really expects that JYP is going to be aggressive here. Now he starts to chrono boost his Nexus, goes for the workers.
And when you see this, it's just like, I mean,
he could have done this a long time ago.
He could have done this twice already by now.
It's like he had another idea. He wanted to do something else and just decided, okay, well, I'm not going to pull it off, and starts to chrono boost his Nexus now. But yeah, he lost a potential amount of workers that could already be mining. And oh wow, he tried to build the robotics, but he moved the probe back a bit too fast.
Yeah, is he just going to do a 6 gate with the chrono boost? That would actually make sense, except he chrono boosts another pro. But if he actually just adds now 3 more gates and goes for a 6 gate with the extra Nexus, that could be good.
He decides to go for the Twilight Council instead. He doesn't get this one robotics that he wanted to build, but changes it up into Twilight Council.
Yeah. Well, he may go for a Blink Stalker attack. That can be really strong on this map. You can blink into the natural if you get an observer up there, or if you just get vision up the ramp, because the ramp is so wide, you get 1 stalk up there, blink the rest in the natural, and really abuse that. Similar to Antigua. He's got to pull these stalkers back, though.
Oh, wow, a lot of hit points lost already on the Stalker. Nice move by MMA. Nearly killed them.
Yeah, if he had waited a second longer to move those stalkers back, he would have lost both.
Yeah.
And here comes the extra gateways.
1, 2, 3. Goes up to 6 gates in total.
Needs that blink research.
Yes.
Or charge potentially. And he is going to be charged, yeah.
He's going to go for the charge build. That is MMA, 2 bunkers. Stim will be ready when JYP attacks. MMA is even getting a 3rd base now.
This is interesting. This build normally is executed a little bit differently with +2 armor and with a bunch of sentries, so you have a very heavily upgraded Zealot army. And sometimes even with Archons, yeah. Another gateway here. He's mining only minerals with his natural, so he's going to have a lot of money for Zealots.
And now he's chrono boosting the hell out of the Twilight Council. Wants to get this charge upgrade as fast as possible. MMA is building a ton of Marines. He's getting Marines, he's getting Marauders. There's no salvage on the bunkers just yet. His starport is done.
He killed one of the Stalkers with his Marines, by the way, at the front, and the second one almost died as well. All that chrono energy that JYP had left is now being sunk into that Twilight Council, and he can now chrono boost all the extra gateways for a second round as well.
The 3rd base is nearly done for MMA. He has really a lot of army at this point. He's just continuing to build bio units, and with the bunkers that are in position, he has a pretty good spot. He will also have the +1 attack upgrade, I feel.
I really would have liked to see... I would have liked to see the pylon next to the rock so he can warp on the other side of them with some Zealots. I think it actually reaches across on this map.
It's getting scary. Combat shield is nearly done. +1 attack is nearly done. The Medivacs are as good as out on the map. So JYP needs to do something now if he wants to take this.
Yep. No chrono energy on his gateways. A scan goes down, sees the 4 gates, but here we go. Zealots come in.
That's a lot of Zealots. +1 attack is not done yet. In just a second. Now it's completed. A lot of damage output here for MMA, but does he have the units? It doesn't really look like it. The force fields are working against JYP, but the Protoss player is pulling everything off the natural.
Oh, and he traps them outside. Yeah, he's got medevacs, but it's hard to use them like this. All the SCVs in the natural will likely die here. You can just drop another force field to make sure they can't escape. Oh, barely squeezing in there. But this may be the end. He raises the depot at the last second, but one of the depots is already gone.
He needs to repair the depot, and here come the SCVs doing exactly that. Trying to he pulls every single SCV that he has, actually, and the units are in the second supply depot. It dies. MMA is down to 50 supply against JYP's 80.
Yeah, and right now JYP's units are ripping through those SCVs. He can stem, he can pull back here, but there may just be too many Zealots. MMA now down to 34 supply. He took a slight risk,
GG. MMA loses the game. JYP is still in this.
Yep. Holds on by the thread of that 6 gate. Or 7 gateways, actually.
Yeah.
He added the 7th one and then did the charge build.
So what does this mean? This means that MMA has to win the match against Hack later on. Hack is actually now in a position where he can advance by beating the next 2 opponents that he faces. That would be Bung Bung and MMA. Then Hack would have a 4-1 score and would advance in this group. Then all comes down to JYP and MMA, who takes the 2nd place here.
Yep. And if Hyun wins this next game against Alive, he will advance.
JYP and Hyun. Yep. So, yeah, right now this is getting really, really interesting. This group is intense.
We have the leading player, who's 3-0, Hyun, playing against the player who's 0-3. So basically we have the first versus the worst now in this next match. The map is going to, in fact, be Whirlwind. So a map where Zergs have been pretty happy about. But like you said earlier, a lot of Terrans have felt comfortable in the late game on this map. They really started to figure out how to play it and take their own risk. Almost every Terran player is going Command Center first on this map right now.
I'm looking at these scores, and it is crazy. There could so much could happen here. Not a single player has a guaranteed spot yet. There are so many different scenarios that could unfold now. It is crazy. That's just madness. It's such a tight group. The next game is gonna determine a lot, though. If Alive, well, Alive already is out. There is no doubt about it. He is basically done for. But if Hyun wins now, Hyun will advance, and it would also mean that JYP is not able to get into a tie situation with Hyun. JYP might still be able to get into a tie situation with either MMA or Hack later on, though.
This is very true. Hyun is looking in good spirits. Alive, not so much at this moment in time. He knows that he's got no shot here. He is the sandbag player in the group right now.
Yeah, he lost everything. He didn't win a single map, but on the other hand, that's also not how you want to go down. You want to at least showcase that you are still good. They had a little bit bad luck in the last few games. They're gonna see if he's able to take Hyun down. The problem is it's Whirlwind. It's a huge map.
Hyun teased them in chat a little bit. Alive does not respond. The map is loading now. It is Whirlwind. Like I said before, the first versus the worst. 3-0 versus 0-3. Hyun up against Alive. If Hyun wins this, he will take that Kodas spot with no questions asked. And Alive, on the other hand, just wants to play for pride here.
Yeah, and Alive. Is his computer having some problems here? The loading screen is looking a little bit awkward, and Alive is just working on something. Could be that we need to restart. But once again, if Hyun wins this, he's in Kodas. Alive apparently just plugging something into his computer, and it looks like we are going to have a bit of a delay.
Yeah, unless his feet were just really itchy suddenly, I think we've got something.
I think he's going to drop here. The rest of the players currently loading. We are done loading as well. The same is true for Hyun in just a few seconds, but Alive's loading bar doesn't move a bit. Yep, there it is. Okay, so he just dropped.
Yeah, his computer may have shut down or something.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, I think all is said about this group. The next few games, these games, for example, even Boom Boom still has a bit of a chance here.
Yeah, everyone's got a shot. That's the beauty of a group. You've got all these players who, you take a loss early on, but you've got 6 players in the group. You still have shots, but at the same time, it's also why a group is hard, because, you have to play against so many different players, and if you make too many mistakes, you fall behind.
You know what's one of the main reasons that Boom Boom actually has a shot? Because he won against JYP earlier. If JYP would have won that, even if the other... That's the one player, that's one of the players that he could be tied with. Yeah. So these scenarios that we have this time are really interesting, but the next 2 games are definitely going to determine a lot in these games. But for now, we are just focusing on Alive against Hyun. There was apparently just an issue with Starcraft and not with the computers or anything, so the game is currently loading. We're going to jump right into the Terran versus Zerg. It's actually the 3rd TVZ that Hyun has to play today, and it is on Whirlwind, which will definitely work in his favor. He was pretty happy about the map, talked about it earlier. He wants to claim his Kodas spot right now. He doesn't want to wait later for some kind of weird tie situation where he has to hope for his opponent to win against whoever. He really wants to pull us off right now. If he wins, he's in Kodas, and I really start to hate this thing. You too, JYP. You too.
Well,
I need this weight thingy. I had this weight thingy that just put it, pinned it down.
It's you know.
I'm bothering production every single time I'm here. At some point, I'm just gonna bring an axe and I will just.
We could remove it. It's barely even on screen over there. But anyway, it's really starting now. Going back into the regame here. Alive against Hyun. Hyun 3-0. Alive 0-3. This is the GSL up and down matches for season number 5 of Codas, sponsored by Hot 6, cast by Counter and Wolf.